Loving you ain't so bad. I miss the days we used to hang over.
1 Corinthians 13 says, love is patient, love is kind. It does not boast, it does not envy, and it's not proud. But are we living on those conditions? Welcome to the Love on Conditions podcast. I'm your host, Jennifer, and this is where we talk about relationships. So whether you're married, you're single, you're a divorcee, you're a mother-in-law, a daughter-in-law, a brother, a sister, whatever type of relationship you have, this is where we speak about love. And today, we do have some very special guests on here. We have a mother-in-law and a daughter-in-law duo. And I'm so excited. Why am I excited? Because my daughter-in-law and me, we do have a very good relationship. So I'm so happy that we will be getting to meet another set. So before we move any further, I'm going to ask our guests to go ahead and introduce themselves. Go ahead, please, Danica.
Hi, I'm Donica Allen. I'm so excited and honored to be on the Love on Conditions podcast and with my mother-in-law, mother-in-law, right? I'm a mom, wife, and business owner, CEO of Done For You Virtual Services. That's a marketing and consulting agency.
Greetings, everyone. Thank you, Miss Jennifer, for this great invite. It's a pleasure to be here. I am Debbie Watson Allen. I am a wife. I'm a mother of two beautiful, or should I say, handsome young men. I have two beautiful daughter-in-laws, and I have 7 grandchildren. Also, I am a minister, and I'm a prayer leader. I do various things. I also do a blog, and I am the owner of Faith Steppers Global. I'm an author, and it's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much for coming on. So the first similarity that we have here is the D's. So it's Danica and it's Debbie. So we're on to a great start. So if you have not yet subscribed to this channel, now is your turn. Subscribe, like, share, and hit the notification bell so that whenever there's a new episode ready, you are the first to know. And we're going to be doing this every week. So let's get right into it. All right. So, ladies, what was your first impression of each other when you first met? What did that look like?
So for me, it looks like being asked, what are you doing here? And at that age, being very feisty, I said, I have all right to be here. I'm old enough because I felt like I knew the question she was really asking. But what I recall is that her persona, her face, her expression didn't change, even with my feisty attitude. And so I had actually a good first impression.
Okay.
Well,
what was your Debbie?
Donica is so right in her reaction to me when we first met. And for me, in my mind, I'm like, I'm not going here with this young lady, not at all. And so, I think it's where I was in life at that time, my level of maturity, but I'm always been the person that is a little bit more open and receptive. And I'm like, I'm the queen of this place. So we'll see.
So that is sounding to me though like the first impression wasn't good.
No, it's not. That's what we're saying. That is not always. It is not always that.
Don't say that because you're doing your territorial thing.
Yes.
Because my castle, I'm the queen here, and Danica is doing hers by saying, "Listen, I belong here as well." So yes, there seemed to be a little bit of strain there. Let me ask you, Danica, how many years have you been married to Debbie's son?
We've been married. This is actually gonna be our 10th year.
Okay. So it's 10 years of work. And I'm really happy that the work was done. So at this point though, let me know, or let the audience know, let the viewers know, what do you admire most about each other?
Well, let me say, I love Donica's. She have an attitude of resilience and determination, really determination. And I found that she is someone that is very easy to talk to.
Mm.
She's, you know, after knowing her over these years, we are building that relationship. I find out that she is committed to what she started out to do, and that commitment is something that kind of gravitate towards. So that makes it better for me to communicate with her, and we build that relationship over time. It is really awesome.
Yeah. For
Perfect.
me, I definitely admire her faith. Her faith and her walk with God are really admirable. And even just the way that she loves her family and is very family oriented. Um, and not just like, maybe most people would be immediate family. Um, just has this idea of we're all together, we're all family, we're all in the same place, we're all working together. And so I really admire that.
Okay. All right, that is good. But it's 10 years. And in the first years, more than likely, yes, it was not good, or it didn't start out or in the way in which you want it to start out. Can you
Yeah.
tell me at what point did you realize that, hey, we're having something special here?
Well, for me, it was talking with my son, because I have that relationship that I tend to ask my son questions and find out where they are. And I found out that he loved this girl. And I'm gonna say, so for me, I always say that I would accept the choices of my children. And so this was his choice. And so for me, I had to adjust myself in whatever way that I need to for a relationship to move forward. But
Mm.
as time goes by and I get to know Donica, then all those walls that were put up and those kind of chip on the shoulder thing that fade away, because then you begin to know, as the layers fall off, you begin to know the genuine person that is underneath, and not the persona, that kind of resistance that was there in the first place. And so we have, I think, maybe a year in or less, or two.
Yeah.
Yes,
Maybe a year.
because
Yeah.
initially it was not, she was visiting, and so that sort of relationship was not that she was always nearby and I'm always in communication with her, but whenever she visits, and it builds over time.
All right, and I'm happy that you brought up your son in this. You said you have two sons, correct?
Yes.
All right, so is Donica's husband your first born
Yes,
or the last one?
the
He's the
first.
first.
He's the first. Yes.
All right, so this is your first baby boy. And this woman, she came along and she she took him. How do you avoid competition, comparison, or unnecessary tension because of your one commonality, which is your son and Donica's husband? How do you avoid those
Well,
competition?
the first thing anyone have to understand is where I understand where I stand. I'm his mother, and that will never change. It doesn't matter what she does, right? And then I personally have to accept, or that this is his choice, and he has chosen a woman that he will move forward with in his life, and she's going to be a part of this family. And so with that in mind, I realize that I have to now move forward in the relationship. And so I make an effort. Initially, it was an effort. It was intentional, trying to making sure that this relationship work, reaching out to her in communication and all that. And I've always have this I don't want to judge people. So I try to be open, with our conversations, and open when we meet. And I identify how my son reacted with her. And so I'm like, this is where his heart is.
Donica, you want to answer that part? How do you avoid competition, comparison, or unnecessary tension with Debbie in regards to her son?
So what she said is really where it stems from for me, is recognizing that no matter what, I honor her as his mother first. Like we can form a friendship, a relationship after, but all of that has to come from the fact that this is his mother. Like she's not going anywhere, right? And I have to be able to honor and respect her, because if I love my husband, I'm not going to intentionally disrespect or dishonor his mother, right? So over the years, learning to avoid tension has been learning how to communicate, being able to really be honest in when things are rubbing me the wrong way, or when I've noticed maybe I've said something that was not, in a nice way to her, or just being, like she was mentioning, open to recognizing that we're all humans, we're all like just people, and we all have feelings, right? But to be able to honor and respect each other regardless of those feelings. And one of the things that I was thinking about today, as I was coming on the interview, was that we've never had any kind of like load, like toe to toe kind of confrontation.
Confrontational, yes.
And
Never
I
had that.
recognize that's actually really a blessing. And I think it's also because of her posture of, I am the queen of this, right? So recognizing that she's not going to, even if there is a conflict, get down to any level lower than just being mature and being wise. I think that has really set the precedent of the honor and respect. Is like, no matter what, we don't go back and forth. It's just like a mother and daughter. Like, I'm not going back and forth with you. And so I think because she maintained that composure, it's helped to avoid like conflict, competition that would escalate beyond where we can't repair it.
I love that. So what I'm getting here from you, your relationship, is that communication is good.
Yes.
Understanding is good.
Yes.
Respect, of course, is good.
Yes.
Well, let me ask you, what is that one thing, that one secret ingredient in regards to your bond?
Well, secret ingredient, I think, is God. It's all about God.
Absolutely. Yes.
Honestly,
Absolutely.
it's just the grace of God.
Yes.
I know, I don't know if this fits into this or not, but I recall that I went through this process with God, where God bring me through the book of James. And it was for just a couple months, like I was just going through back and forth reading, and the Lord spoke to me about honoring people where they are and who they are. And so with that change in my life, it pushed me forward to looking at people. It doesn't matter where you are, if you're the cleaner of the floor, if you're the queen of the CEO, or you're the president, I'm going to give you that respect, because as a human being and as a person. And so with that said, I extended that to in all my relationships. And looking with Donica, for one, I tell myself I don't have a daughter. I have two sons. So I begin to embrace her as my daughter and not just a daughter-in-law. So I don't refer her to her as my daughter-in-law, because for me, the relationship that we have, it's like a mother and daughter. How we communicate right now. I mean, and it has been years. It's not just like recent now that we have been communicating that way. We pray together. We share, not secrets, but our feelings. Yes. We don't really have secrets, we just share our emotions, the things that we're going through, and we're able to support each other in those in different circumstances that comes. And so it is really awesome how the flow of the relationship. I can call her at 2 a.m. Right?
Yes.
I mean, I can call her at 2 a.m. and it's which mother-in-law called their daughter-in-law at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
You know, whatever my circumstances. You know, my husband would say, I don't know what you guys have to talk about so much. You're always talking. Because we have built that relationship over time.
Yes.
And I think God is in the center of it.
Absolutely.
His love is in the center of it. His kindness is in the center of it.
Absolutely.
And it's just beautiful. And most of all, my son is main too, because if he wasn't there, I would not have met her. So
Yeah.
my son is really also a major ingredient to that.
I want to add, it's faith, and it's twofold for me, because she was actually instrumental in my walk, in my relationship with God. So in the beginning stages, like I had gotten baptized when I was younger, when I was 16, and different life events happened. Then I met my husband now. And over those years, I didn't really understand how faith came into play in my life, like my actual life. And I remember she would have conversations with me or text me, or, if I would go anywhere with her, I would always end up at church. No matter where I'm going with her, I always end up at some church. So I remember specifically going, and we were supposed to be, this is not, I'm supposed to be going to have a grand time, okay? And I invited her to come with us. Though I don't even know what I was thinking. I was just like, we were not married. That's the absolute honest truth. As I want people to understand, okay, where I'm coming from. I was not married, and I was like, I think we are probably going to be engaged around that time. Yes. And so I invited her to come with us, me and my husband.
It was a vacation.
It was supposed to be a vacation, right?
Sydney Grill, Jamaica.
Sydney Grill. And I'm just supposed to be having a grand time. But a lot was going on in my relationship with my husband. And I'm positive she had no clue about half of that. But of course, no matter where we go, we have to go to church. And so there on my vacation,
He found church.
He brings me to church.
That's true.
And is there interceding over me to be able to be filled with the Spirit and all. Yes. And so I tell you, but it was instrumental in my walk with God, because I surrendered my life in that moment for real, with more knowledge. I was in my 20s, my early 20s, with more knowledge now, based on some of the conversation and the years. And that was a turning point in my relationship with God. And that turning point, I believe, helped me so much, not just in my relationship with her, but my relationship with my mother, right? My biological mother, which would have really helped in all of my life, to be honest, for us to even be able to be here, I believe. For me to have been or become the person that could sit down and have such an amazing relationship with my mother-in-law, it was that moment that she was instrumental in. So it's twofold for me.
Thank you. You may have noticed at the beginning when you say God, Debbie, you saw me, my facial expression changed, because the reason for this is we're doing interviews now. So we're taping for the podcast, which is going to be starting in April. And you are the third person, the third interview. I think I did 4, but you are the third, and the person said God. God is the one who kept this relationship going, and it is just a confirmation. And I'm like, God is good. It doesn't matter where we go and what we want to do. If we don't have God, it's not gonna work.
It's not gonna work. Amen.
It's just not gonna work.
Amen.
So can love between in-laws be intentional rather than just automatic?
Most definitely. It's intentional in the sense that you first acknowledge that this is no longer a person out there. This is a person that you have opened your arms, you have opened your doors, you have opened your heart, and you have taken them in to be a part of your family.
Mm-hmm.
So regardless of them being, counted as blood or no blood, because, sometimes we think that it's just, you have to be associated by blood somehow to be a family, but it is that love that you need. So you're bringing them into your heart. She become up into my heart, because when I pray, she's in that prayer.
Yes.
So it's all a part of that. So intentional in the sense of, how do I treat this person? How do I, communicate with her? Thinking about, how does she feel? A lot of times I think of, when there is conversation, I have to think about, how would I feel if I say this, if I don't say this? How would I say this that she would feel comfortable and not feel like I'm either rejecting her or pushing her away, especially in the initial stages of our relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And then as time goes by, it is more intentional. What can I say or do to help to develop her, to uplift her,
Yes.
to let her grow as the woman that she is?
Yes. Yeah.
So those are the things that it becomes intentional like that. And then the automatic part of it is that love flows, and because love flows, there she feels that love. She's brought into that love. And so
Yes.
things, it's not anything made up. The interaction is genuine, the smiles, the laugh, the sharing of the experience. Okay, we're going on a trip. I want to go to Oma, you want to come with me? Yeah, I want to go this, you want to come with me? That
Right.
sort of thing where it's automatic. Bringing
Yes.
her into that circle of love.
You have anything to add, Donica?
Yeah, intentional, just like she mentioned, inviting me to different events, like I mentioned, whether it was church or it was a ladies' conference, but really being intentional to care about a person. That was a thing that I found helped our relationship outside of even doing things with, like, like family time, doing things with my husband and with her. We do things together intentionally, right? We will go to places together intentionally. I remember even when I just came here and I was just living in America, we go to the nail salon to get a pedicure. She was intentional about those things. So I think the intentional part comes in fostering a relationship even outside of your husband, even outside of her son, right? Because then when things happen inside of the marriage, she is more liable to care about both parties and be able to intercede over both parties.
Yes.
And I think that's been very fundamental. It's because she loves her son, but she's also grown to love me, right?
Yes.
So I think that's intentionality is really important in fostering a good relationship.
Right. And Debbie, I can tell you, well, I know you know that Donica loves you, but when I told her about the podcast and I said I'm doing relationships and I was telling her what they're about, she said, you know what? Me and my mother-in-law, it was like a no-brainer. This,
was a
she was
no-brainer.
ready. She would say, that would be interesting. So I am seeing where, she has you in her heart, and I'm happy to also be speaking with you because it is showing me where you have her. But things happen, mother, daughter. How do you navigate? How do you create this relationship built on love and not control? Because I know that things can happen where you would like to take charge, meaning whether it be she's hurting, she's happy, she has decisions to make and all that good stuff. And remember, as I said, she's with your son, your first child. So how do you fix that? How do you ensure that you're not controlling?
Well, sometimes I really want to control. and that's just the truth. But I have to go back to prayer, because I have to ask the Lord, help me to identify when to let go.
Yeah.
Help me to identify when to speak and not to speak.
Yeah.
So for me, I have to listen to the Holy Spirit. And, Danica can attest, there were times when, there were rough spots, that things they were going through, whatever. And I want to just speak. And the Lord said, no, wait. And I'm like, Lord, but no, wait. And so when the Lord imprompt me or tell me to speak, it is like the opportune time where she's open to have that conversation, open for if there is things that need to be corrected, or open to an idea, then she that openness is there. But if we're not listening to her intuition, or listening to what the Lord, or what is going on, and thinking that I'm just going to push against the walls that have been, sometimes it's not a wall of resistance, but it's a wall that I need more time.
Yeah.
It's that time that I need my own space, because we can't always push into people's space.
Yeah.
And I have to identify when, if it's something that it's in the family, but it's a relationship situation, or it's about the children, or it's about, let her and her husband deal with the children, because we're still close when it comes to the grandchildren.
Yeah.
Let them deal with that situation. And, when she's ready, then she will say something to me, and I identify, okay, now I can now, step in and say something where that is concerned. And so sometimes it's that fine line. But praying about it and asking the Lord's guidance has always been my go-to for that. And I found that works, because there were times when I didn't do that, and I try to push against that, and I feel that resistance. You feel that, okay, that complete lockdown. When it's like when any other person is going through their emotional problem, and you have to identify when is it that they're ready to talk about it. Because if you're, when you do psychology with people, some people will not open so easily. So
Yes.
I think, those things, the question is going through the mind. Can I trust you with this? I know we have a relationship, but can I trust you with this? Am I able to open and not feel and expose my vulnerability, and not feel as if I'm being judged, or I'm being criticized, or that sort of thing comes in play. And so it takes a level of development in any relationship. It's not just ours, but in any relationship, to identify when to speak and when not to speak, when to let go and when to embrace. And it can be challenging.
Yes. And it takes us to respect. Because
Yes.
based on what I'm hearing right here, both of you respect each other's boundaries.
Yes.
Yes, and you put that in, and that's a part of keeping the relationship where it's at. But what is that one thing? Because you love each other, right? We know that, we're feeling that. But what is that one thing that each of you does to make each other feel loved? Other than being respectful, other than being understanding, other than spending time going to church or doing other things, even doing this podcast. What is that one thing that you always ensure for each other to know that, hey, I love you? Donica?
I'll say it's that she listens to me. Yeah.
I was
As much as
I was gonna say showing up for me. That's the word. I was gonna say showing up.
Yeah.
Yes.
As much as, she mentioned about the avoiding the controlling, genuinely she listens to me, listens to when I'm struggling, and praying over me or praying with me. I really believe that's been something that it makes me feel loved, because it's someone taking time out of their day to actually connect with me, not just the version of me that's mom or wife, but the heart of who I am and what my struggles are. And that takes intention. So that's how I feel loved, it's just that attention. So
yeah.
Attention. And you were saying, Debbie, she shows up for you.
Yeah, she shows up, because as I said, if I call her for anything that's, that I need, she's always willing. Even if she have a million things to do, which she always have a million things
She's
to do.
always willing. She
Yeah,
always.
her calendar is so full. I'm sometimes I have to say, like, what about your me time, girl?
Yeah.
So,
Yes. Yes.
so yes, so sometimes, yeah, she's always making room for me, and that is really, I'm really grateful. I'm always telling her how much I appreciate her, and I am grateful for her for what she does for me, just being there, and no no question asked, and that is beautiful. No question asked.
Right. How do you want your relationship to continue growing in the future? Because today is the 20th of March.
Yeah.
All right. You have your entire future ahead of you. How would you want to see things for you guys moving onwards? You are in something that's extremely good, and it is benefiting both of you. But moving onwards,
Moving onwards, I see us
how would you
moving
want the
not
relationship?
only I see us growing together, when it's like a friendship that balloons,
Mhm,
and moving forward, not in our immediate relationship, in our family, but also growing in our business, as growing in our business, and
mhm,
growing in our ministry, the ministry that God has placed us on us.
mhm.
I see us growing in that. And I told her that you gotta go up, because we're going together. Right?
You're not
But I
leaving a
always say
wither,
that
no,
if we
wither,
are
no
growing
growing
together.
cycle.
So
Yeah, you're not leaving.
my her success is my success, my success is her success.
Yes.
Because why I'm saying that, when you love somebody, you want to see them move up, you don't want to see them grow. You don't want that, you don't want anything to hinder the growth of that person. And
Mm-hmm,
so,
mm-hmm.
you know, being that support, I've seen her supporting me. That's what I
Yes.
see in the future. I see her supporting me, and also me doing the same for her, supporting her for
Mm-hmm.
growth. And it's not just, it's emotional growth. It is growth in her ministry, because she's a minister also, and
Yeah.
growth in her business, as that,
Yeah.
and also growth financially, growth with
Yeah.
her children. And I
Mm-hmm.
see that. And as I said, God is the center. And I'm
Of
praying,
it all.
like, something, you have to pray for it, and you have
Yeah.
to be, allow the Lord to let that flow, that free flow of the Spirit of the Lord, to be in your relationships, and just to grow.
Okay. You wanted to add, Donica? Or
I
you're
think
just
you summed it up perfectly.
yeah, I think so. I think so too. All
Yeah.
right, so we're almost at the end of this section. We need advice.
Yeah.
Okay. I need your advice. I need to hear it from both of you. So there is a young girl out there, and she's about to get married to this man. And that means getting married to the entire family, whether she likes it or not. And there comes the mother in law. What advice would you give to her in regards to making her relationship with her mother in law thrive? Donica, what advice?
My advice to her is to get to know her genuinely. So beyond the title, get to know the person, get to understand the person, right? And really, really just foster connection, right? Where you're intentional to find out what she likes, what she dislikes, and in that relationship, learning to honor her, not just as his mom, which is really important, but to honor her as her own person, right? I believe when you do that, it will help with so many other things, because you can be open to who she is and how both of you can work together, right? And how the relationship can expand, into other ways, right? So even she just mentioned about us working together, doing ministry together. That wouldn't happen, I don't believe, if we didn't get to actually learn about each other and learn what our weaknesses and strengths are as an individual. So I believe that's even though she might be overwhelmed by all of the wedding planning and all of that, be able to focus on this is a relationship that will last just as long as a relationship with my husband. So how do
Yes.
I, from now, cultivate this relationship? That's what
Yes.
my advice would be.
Thank you so much for that, Donica. Now, Debbie, it's your turn. What is your advice to that mother-in-law? She's going to
That
take on a
mother-in-law.
daughter. Yes, she's going to be taking on a daughter who will be loving her son. What is your advice to her?
Not to think that you're losing a son, or you're if it's a daughter, you're losing a daughter. You're actually gaining, because have an open mind. Think about what can this daughter-in-law, this son-in-law brings to the family. What are their gifts? What are they coming with? And they may be coming with a wealth of knowledge, a wealth of the things that you don't even know. So be open to that. Be intentional in building a relationship that will grow from day one. Not to be the one that is going to think that, okay, yes, she may be feisty, or he may be this, but this can be different.
Yeah.
The way you approach it can be so much different. And so be open to embrace that person that is coming into your life. Think of that person as the one that your daughter has chosen or your son has chosen. Why did they choose this person? There must be some great qualities in this person that they see that is going to be balance them to be their other half, why they make that choice, and help them move forward in building their relationship, and then bringing that relationship into the family relationship.
Thank you so very much, ladies. Thank you for sharing with us today. Thank you for your wisdom. Thank you for the knowledge. Thank you for the gems that you have passed on. We really, yes, I had a good time listening to you. But now we are at the end. What we're going to be doing is what we call our rapid fire questions.
Okay.
I'm going to shoot them at you, and you're going to give me your answers.
Okay.
Who is more likely to call just to check in?
Me.
Yes, she is.
Okay. Who is the better cook?
Me.
She is. That's unfair.
Who's more likely to win an argument and still act innocent?
She.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who's more likely to say, I am not gossiping, but?
Me.
That's too good. That was good. That was good.
Who's more likely to give an unasked for opinion?
Me. Both of us.
Yeah, both of us. I was about to say, I don't know, because I'm the same.
Who would survive longer without calling the other?
No, I think maybe her.
Yeah. Yeah.
She
Okay.
will survive longer.
Yeah.
Okay. Who is more likely to start laughing at the wrong time? Why are you laughing at the funeral?
Both of us.
Both of us.
Both of us.
All right. Thank you so much. We have now come to the end of this. Before we finish, I want you to tell our guests if there's anyone that you'd like to give a shout out to, or if you want to tell us if you have an upcoming event or anything that is going on, you want to share a website or anything like that. You can now go ahead and do that.
Well, for me, I just want to shout out my husband. Yeah, I just want to thank him and all my babies. I just want to shout out my babies. Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, if it wasn't for my son, we wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
Because
We have to shout him out.
Yeah, so shout out to my son.
Yeah.
His name is Dwayne Allen. He's handsome, he's tall. He is
He's Donica's husband.
Tall, dark, and handsome.
Yes, he's tall, dark, he's handsome. Look at Mama,
And
right?
he's a hard worker.
He's a hard worker.
Yes.
Yes, he is gifted he's talented. He is a great father.
Yes, he is.
He's just awesome.
Yeah.
And so shout out to him. I want to give shout out to my husband, who has always been my support and my love.
Yeah.
And I thank God for this opportunity again.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I'm on Instagram.
Mhm.
Debbie Watson Allen.
Debbie Watson Allen. Yes, I use my name for everything. I'm on Instagram and on Facebook. You can find me there. My book, Chosen for Battle, it is on Amazon. I also have a journal that I've written also, and it's
Mhm.
called Faith Steppers Journal, also available on Amazon and also at Ingram Spark. Also, it is around everywhere pretty much.
Okay.
So yes, so thank you again.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Your information, of course, will be in the bio down below, so don't worry. We'll get that from you and we will add it to it. So here we are at the end. Love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy, it does not boast, and it sure isn't proud. See you next time. Thank you.
Loving you ain't so bad. I miss the days we used to hang around. Please don't be so sad, girl. I still hear your voice in every sound. Back when the time slowed down, we were laughing, love was all we knew. Now it's just me here, but the truth is I am still in love with you.